Yada te moha kalilam buddhirvyatitarishyati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. Anju, read.
When your mind will have fully crossed the mire of delusion, you will then grow indifferent to the enjoyments of this world and the next that have been heard of as well as to those that are yet to be heard of.
Alright. So up till now you have done the steps of Karma Yoga to become Manishi. Manishi, you have got clarity of intellectual level. You have intellectual knowledge so far. When that happens, your mind will have fully crossed the mire of delusion. In other words, your mind will no longer be confused. Simple words. Your mind will no longer be confused. When you are no longer confused, all the things which have attracted you in sansar, all the things that are of enjoyment in the material world will become less attractive to you. You will not feel like running after the material enjoyments of the world. You will not also be running after the enjoyments of the next world. In other words, Swarga. Yada. When? Te. Your. Buddhi. Intellect. Vyatitarishyati will cross. Kalilam, mire, kichad. Moha, dirt, yeah. Moha, delusion. So up to here, when your intellect will have crossed the mire or the quagmire or the kichad of moha, of delusion, tada, then gantasi, you will acquire, you will get, you will attain nirvedam, indifference. Shrotavyasya. Nirvedam of what? Indifference of what? Of what is yet to be heard. Means what is yet to be heard? Maybe in the future or maybe even after death. What I have to still know about. Cha. And Shrutasya. What has already been heard. What I already know. That is, whatever is my material enjoyments in the world here. So, transliterating the entire thing, when your intellect will have crossed the mire of delusion, then you will acquire indifference to all that you have, to all that you will still hear in the future, as well as all the things that you have already heard of, all the material enjoyments that you still need to hear of and which you have already heard of. Now, when we did verse 42 and 43, if you just go back and look at that verse, Bhagwan Krishna is talking about all the things written in the Vedas which you need to do, ye puja karo, ye mantra karo, ye jap karo, ye karo, wo karo, to get material enjoyments, to fulfill our material desires, right or wrong? Because there are people still who need to fulfill some things to overcome that. So here Bhagwan is talking about those people who are attached to their worldly enjoyments and they are getting attracted to the flowery words of the Vedas that promise all the worldly material luxuries by performing rituals. So they are still in this Shrutasya stage. They are stuck over there. Oh, if I do this, I will get this material good. If I do that, I will get this benefit. If I do this, I will get my Lamborghini. If I do this, I will get my villa. So he's talking about those people. But those people whose intellect is established, as in the previous verse, in Buddhi Yukta, those people whose intellect is already established in Samatva Bhav, what will happen to them? They will no longer be seeking these material sense pleasures. Because they have realized that even these material sense pleasures are sukhi in the beginning, they give sukh in the beginning, but eventually they also give dukh. So those who are on the spiritual journey, those who are looking for that eventual freedom from birth and death, those who are looking for freedom in terms of moksha, they will not be hankering after these temporary sukhs. They realize that temporary sukh is temporary only. After that, after sukh, what comes? Dukh. Right? So they will not be worried about that. So when you have this samatva bhav, you will be doing your work with samarpan bhav, you will be doing your swadharma, your understanding will become clearer and clearer. What understanding is becoming clearer? Aham Brahmasmi. Who am I? I am not this body which has all these desires. I am not this mind. I am not this intellect. I am that. I am that supreme being. So what is happening? More and more clarity in which yoga? Gyan yoga. You understand how the process is happening? You started with karma yoga. It moved into upasana or bhakti yoga. And now slowly it's evolving into Gyan yoga. So slowly.
Yes,
Of course, always.
is there something like weak desire and strong desire?
Of course. There is.
So the results will be different.
The thing with desire is it's basically an energy. So any energy is like the ignition of the car. The minute you give attention to your desire, you have put the ignition key on. The weak desire will also become strong when you put the foot on your accelerator. How much attention are you giving the desire will make it stronger and stronger. If you withdraw your attention from the desire, your desire will not get the fuel to get accelerated. There are weak desires which are not so embedded within you. They will be easy to get rid of. Strong desires, very difficult. Needs persistent awareness. Persistent. Okay? So, yada te moha kilalyam buddhi vyati tarishyati. What does it mean? When your intellect will cross this barrier of moha, of confusion. So we have said that our intellect is getting clearer and clearer. We are understanding better and better what is Aham Brahmasmi. Then what happens? The false understanding of who am I, that I am this body, I am this mind, I am this intellect, all that gets replaced. So this is the next stage. You did a lot of stages in the earlier verse. Now comes the next stage where your intellect has already become clear. Now you are understanding, I am not body, mind, intellect. I am witness. I am Atma. That nishtha becomes clearer and clearer. I am not body. I am not mind. I am not intellect. Aham Anand. Aham Sakshi. I am witness. I am Atma. So the intellectual knowledge that you had as a Manishi now gets more and more firm, more and more pakka. No sanshay remains, no doubt remains. This is important. In the earlier stage, you may slip into and out of that concept. But now there is no sanshay, and when there is no sanshay means what? Doubt. When there is no sanshay, when you are completely clear, then every action you will do will be in karma yoga bhav. Every action.
So Karma Yoga, we are also saying the bhav is of surrendering to the supreme kind of thing. But there may be someone who does like equanimously, he lives his life, does whatever is needed, but doesn't have any sort of compelling bhav of I should attain moksha. So what?
Step 1 you are in. You are doing your dharma, but without bhav. So you are still have to develop that bhav. How to develop? Just keep doing. Eventually it will develop. So when you will be clear in your intellectual knowledge, what did we say? Nishtha will develop, sanshay will disappear. You will start doing each and every action with buddhi yog, means karma yog bhav. And when you will do every action with karma yog bhav, just right now imagine it, because it's not happening right now, right, in your life. You are not doing every action in karma yog bhav, are you?
No.
So just imagine that every action you're doing, your mind is equanimous. Imagine, huh? You have to imagine because you don't know it yet. Every action you're doing, you're dedicating to the Supreme. Every action you're doing is your dharma. Every action you're doing, you're not expecting any particular result. And every action you're doing, whatever result comes, is you are fine with it. What will be your mental state? Peace. Absolute peace. There is no disturbance. There is no vikshep. There is nothing happening. You are in that state of Samabuddhi. Absolutely. So, in that state where there is no gadbad going on, why this happened, why she did, why he did, why he didn't do, why she didn't do, what? Kantala, imagine. God, I can't even imagine that. When you will be doing that and every action will be giving you this peace and quiet, it is only in that state of mind that you can do true self-inquiry. It is only in that state can you do vichar. It's only in that state that you can contemplate who am I. Before that, when we are doing all this contemplation of main kaun, who and who am I and aham brahmasmi, inside something is coming. She said like this. Somewhere he did like this. Why she didn't do? Why he didn't do? World is like that only. I am that unfortunate person. I am the sufferer. He is to blame. She is to blame. All this agitated mind can never ever support exploring who am I. You can sit for 55 hours in meditation also. You will not be able to do true self-inquiry till you reach that state where you are doing everything in karma yoga bhav. But when you will be able to do that, when you will be able to remove from your mind all these negative agitations, nirvedam will happen. Indifference. Indifference to the what? You tell me? Indifference to what? Result of actions. Indifference to result of actions. You will no longer be slavishly running after rags. And you will no longer be slavishly running away from dvesh. And when that happens, the next stage happens. What's that next stage? Vairagya. That is the meaning of Vairagya. Vairagya will happen towards what? All the things that you have heard of in this lifetime, that these things give me sukh, All the things that you have heard will give me sukh in the future, after I die, in Swarg, and also all the things that I have not even heard of as yet. You will have Vairagya from all these things.
But so when we have to do our dharma would also say require that we do the best effort, like 100%, and we say we want the best for our family, like we have to do the best for them.
Right.
Now, evaluating anything as best, that Raga Dvesh has a possibility of coming in.
Best means to the best of your abilities, not to the best of my abilities. The best of your abilities you have to do. So there is no Rag Dvesh there.
I think wow.
Rag Dvesh will come when there
You
is.
want a certain result as because that's best for your family, and then that result focus sort of creeps in and destroys your karma yoga power.
See, there is nothing wrong in wanting the best. Wanting the best means, which is dharma. Wanting the best, not some fancy stuff. Wanting the best, so you plan for it, you do your best, and then leave it. Then whatever result comes. The rag and dvesh is for the result, not for the planning. You getting it? Okay. So Vairagya, what is Vairagya? Vairagya is something people get really scared of. Okay. Vairagya they think means if you have to get Vairagya, you have to wear orange clothes. Clothes has nothing to do with Vairagya. Okay. Vairagya is also not hatred for any object. There is no dvesh. Just as there is no rag, there will also be no dvesh. It's not running away from anything. It's Vairagya is basically making yourself, protecting yourself from getting influenced by the result of any action. That's it. That is Vairagya. Vairagya is also being free from the attraction of the outside world. Vairagya is freedom from rag and dvesh, from naam and roop, from the name and form, from vishais. When you are free from the attraction to sansar, free from the attraction to vishais, free from the attraction to naam and roop, that is Vairagya. Now, if you remove your attention from the outside world, where will you be able to direct your attention?
Inside.
In the inside world. And if you have not yet removed the attraction of the outside world, how will you ever be able to focus on the inside world? Because that outside world is tangible. You will 100% be attracted more to the outside world. You will never be able to focus on the inner world. So, training is required. Training of buddhi. Until then, however long you sit in meditation, it will still be only a training. It will still be only a training till you have cleared out the attraction to the outside world. So far, how many steps are there in Karma Yoga? At least 14 steps are there up till now. Okay, you want to go through them once?
Yeah.
Tell me, what is the first step? Focus on dharma. Do the dharma. Then do it with bhav. Exactly. You cannot just do Karma Yoga mechanically or grudgingly or boringly. So boring, but I have to do. She said to do, so I have to do. Not like that. With bhav. Then what happens? Upasana. The Karma Yoga graduates into Upasana. Then humility develops. Humility develops, ego gets destroyed. That which point are we on? 4. Very good. Then fifth,
Joy in action.
joy will come in the action itself. The action will not be
Mechanical.
mechanical. Joy.
will not do the action for you.
You will not be doing the action to get joy. The joy will be intrinsic within the action itself. Then what happens in 6?
Purification.
Priorities start changing. What else starts changing? Interests start changing. Tastes start changing. Very good. Lifestyle, all that. Tastes start changing. How many numbers? 8. Okay, whatever number is in your book is the correct number. Then what happens? By this time you've become what? Manishi. By this time you have become Manishi. Manishi means you have got clear understanding. But it is still what kind of knowledge? Intellectual knowledge. Still it is only intellectual knowledge. When you are established in this intellectual knowledge, the next step comes. What is that next step? Insights will start coming. Insights will start coming. Then what happens? You will be free from moha, delusion. You will be free from confusion. And when you start, your mind becomes free from confusion, you are doing all the actions according to Karma Yoga Bhav, then what happens? Free from Vasana, free from all the freedoms you have, what will happen? Your mind will become quiet and peaceful, and in that quiet and peaceful, you will be able to do self-inquiry. Getting it? These steps, so logical it is. Absolutely, point by point, Bhagavan Krishna has given the logical process of practicing Karma Yoga. Okay? The last verse for today, verse 53.